What's up, YouTube? Had some thoughts for you guys today. Wanted to come and discuss them, see what you thought. Anyway, before we get started, if you guys could do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe button, comment if you like what I'm doing, and any interaction will help the channel grow. But what I want to talk about is it's kind of along the lines of level of attraction, but more practical, right? A lot of people are always talking about what they deserve, right? I deserve this and I deserve that. And the point of the matter is, if you deserved it, if you don't have something, then that means you didn't really deserve it. What I mean by that, I know this probably be going to ruffle some people's feathers, but I'm a big proponent of you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, right? If you are getting negative results in your life, that's because you're putting out negative energy, right? You're doing negative things that will continue to bring the negativity to you, right? So a lot of people will be like, well, I deserve a good partner, but are you a good partner? What is that person getting in return, right? Because a lot of people want, and this goes for guys and girls. I hear it more from the girls, from women, than I do hear from guys, but it applies to guys as well. I'll break both of those aspects down. All right, for example, a lot of women be like, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, so they think they deserve 10s as far as their dating partner as well, right? But they're not getting 10s. So that would indicate to me that you're not a 10. Right, you're not a 9, you're not an 8, because your results would speak for themselves. Your fruit would show that, right? Your tree would bear fruit, right? So I can imagine, and this is anecdotally and probably statistically, I don't know if there's a way to prove it, but if you're looking at very attractive women, right, they have everything together. They don't have bad outcomes from previous relationship. They're not held down by a lot of baggage. I'm sure they can tell you they have more suitors than they can actually put up with, right? And a lot of these women are in long-term relationships, if not married, or in the pursuit of being married, right? But a lot of women who say they're 8, 9s, and 10s, and they deserve a man who's making this, who has this together, he's fit, he's this, he's that. Baby girl, if you haven't gotten them yet, then you're getting exactly what you deserve. All the bad picks that you have, you deserve those, right? Because I'll give someone 1 or 2 chances, right? Man, what I mean by that, like, you might have, the wool pulled over your eyes once. As the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? Because you should have learned from that first experience the red flags to be identified and make decisions accordingly. And if you don't make those decisions accordingly, then that's all on you. So I'll give someone, a red flag you might not learn right away. But if all your guys you've been dealing with have all been bad choices, and you're like, well, my baby daddy ain't this, my baby daddy ain't that, the last guy I dealt with, my ex this, my ex that, that would tend to indicate to me that you're a poor decision maker. So with you being a poor decision maker, that would also indicate why you haven't found you a high quality man, because men who are high quality are good decision makers, right? And they see you as a bad decision, and they have allowed themselves enough they've made it through life by making good decisions, right? So they're where they are in life because they make good decisions, and you represent a bad decision. And they can see that from a mile away. They've made enough decisions in life that they can recognize when someone's a bad decision. Not always. Obviously, some of our people in the public sphere are learning a lesson the hard way. But I wouldn't always recommend what, like, example what Shannon Sharp's going through. I wouldn't always say that men who are athletes are high value guys. I mean, they just have access to a lot of resources, and majority of the time, they've won a genetic lottery as far as looks and features. But that doesn't mean that they're the best decision makers when it comes to other things in their life, right? They might be the best decision makers as far as discipline, staying in the gym. But when it comes to choosing a woman, I've seen that. I mean, Travis is an example. I mean, his situation is yet to be seen how it'll fall out. But anybody who's had experience with women for any amount of time can look at that situation and say, hey, this is probably not what that man should be doing. But he's not the best decision maker. His mind, his decision making is only on the field. And that's the same thing with Shannon Sharp. I mean, most guys who, especially in the world of corporate America, have learned how to move a little bit, and they can look at the situation and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't be dealing with an OnlyFans because this person probably doesn't have good moral character, so I can't be trusting them within my inner circle because, their life decisions show me that, hey, they don't know how to, make good decisions for themselves, so I probably should, move on from that. Right, but you attract who you are. You attracted a bad. Shannon Sharp doesn't make good decisions, so he attracts other people who don't make good decisions. So, as I say, you don't attract what you want; you attract what you are, right? And unfortunately, I don't think money can mask that particular aspect. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean all of a sudden all the decisions you make are great. And I think that you see that with a lot of athletes. They get into large amounts of money. They've never fully matured as men in the dating pool because they've never had to make any decisions when it came to. They never had to really vet a woman because a woman just came after them, right? So that when you have things handed to you easily, it doesn't take a lot for you to make the best decisions. So. And this lesson translates to a lot of women. And I've met a lot of women in my lifetime who blame everyone else or blame the guys for the mistakes that they made. And when I say the mistakes they made, like the mistake they made was dealing with that guy for more than one time. The first interactions or two should tell you all you need to know about a person, enough to make the decision whether you want to keep it going further. Now, I don't think a couple interactions are going to let you know if you want to build that person. But it should let you know, hey, man, this isn't the person for me. I should probably move on. If you don't have that, and I think a lot of times this happens because there's no mentorship that women receive from, there's a lot of single-family homes. So I think that fathers will be able to spot a lot of the craziness that women would bring home. But since there's no father to vet these men and to recognize, sorrowful men, unfortunately, women fall into the trap, and they don't learn from it, right? And that's the biggest thing. Like I said earlier, I can let you slide off that first one. Like everybody, makes mistakes, and you fall in love, and you think, well, this is how love's supposed to be, blah 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 blah. But if you walk out of that situation and say, hey, I'm going to continue to make bad decisions with men, then you got to kind of blame yourself for a little bit, right? And to dive down into men, I feel like there's a lot of guys out there who haven't put in the work, haven't sacrificed what they needed to sacrifice in order to be who they need to be in life, right? And these particular guys feel like they deserve more than what they're given. They feel like the world owes them something. And I run into a lot of guys like that in my life where they feel like the world owes them something, they should get help just because they exist. And any guy who has been raised, I believe, properly will understand that no one's coming to save you, and then no one owes you anything. And if you're not getting the women that you want in life, it's because you are not where you need to be in life. I've always said I had a cousin of mine, he's an attractive guy, I would say. Taller guy, a lot of what women want. He makes a lot of good money. I make some good money, and we've talked in the past before he reached that threshold of the monetary making he's get. he would pull a lot of women just based off his physical attributes. And we would have conversations when he would be going back and forth with a woman. And I would say to him, I said, she's arguing with you and fussing with you and going back and forth with you because she doesn't look at you like you're the prize, like she's won something. She looked at you like, yeah, I'm his equal. And before everybody runs off in a tangent, I'm not saying it in a derogatory mean, but she's looking at him like, why should I take advice from someone who isn't doing better than me, right? And if he was doing better than her, like where he is right now, and it's not always a guarantee because some people feel like they are still better than you because of whatever circumstances they in. But the majority of the time, if you're in a situation where a woman feels like you can improve her life, whether that be financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, however that may be, you don't get a lot of pushback. You know what I mean? Because she's trusting you because she looks at your results that you have and say, you know what? A logical woman does. And that's what I meant earlier. Some women, they look their nose down because they're illogical. They believe that just by them being a woman, that gives them the divine right to run shop, right? But if you're a logical person, you're a logical woman, majority of the time, if a woman sees a man who has, the things that she wants for her own life, and she sees this man is intelligent and can lead her, there's not a lot of pushback. But if she feels like you can't lead yourself, you're getting pushback. So one or two things need to happen. Either A, you need to pick a different woman, or B, you need to get on your grind. Preferably both. Preferably both. But like I said, you attract who you are. So if you're getting results from a woman that's being disrespectful, not following your lead, it's always a headache, that's probably on you because you attracted that woman in your life and you're allowing her to continue to stay there and disrespect you. So you feel like you want to be disrespected. Because let me tell you something, and not in too many cases that I can say that you're held against your will. I'm sure there's somebody out there, and there's always exceptions to the rule, that feel like they can't leave a situation. And them feeling like they can't leave a situation is true. And I mean, but those situations are mostly few and far between where you physically cannot leave. Majority of the time, people can't leave because they're proud. They don't want to say that they're wrong. They don't want to admit to their family that they're wrong, that they chose wrong. So pride keeps them there, and then delusion also keeps them there. Like, well, if I do this, I do that, maybe they'll change, and then the relationship can be what it needs to be. But if you are honest with yourself, you can say, this isn't giving me what I want. I should bail, right? And before you jump into the next relationship, spend some time working on yourself and getting yourself together, because I can guarantee you that if you put in time, effort, and energy into yourself and you start being who you want to be, you want to have in your life, then you'll get that person, right? If you want a loving relationship, first start off by being loved. You want a supportive relationship, first start off by being supportive. If you want to have a top tier woman, be a top tier man, and vice versa. A lot of people are running around here thinking they deserve the top of the top. What are they getting in return? Why should I, work on myself, improve myself to a level where, I'm a highly valued individual, whether that be man or woman? And obviously we value different characteristics in either sexes. But if I want to be desired by what I feel is my equal in the other sex, then I need to be looking at what that person has going on and think about, what they may want in a person, and then become that person, and then I will attract them to me. But if you're saying, if you're here and you're not, you're not in the gym, but you want a fit woman, or you're not in the gym, you want a fit man, your finances are in disarray, but you want a man who's got his finances together. You're a sloppy person, but you want a person who's clean. You want unkempt, but you want a sexy person. I see a lot of that, and to me, it's like the audacity for you to say that I deserve this person, but this person deserves less. They can do all the things that make them a great person, but I deserve them. But you haven't worked on yourself. You're overweight. You're not pleasant to be around, and that one kills me. Like, a lot of times you'll meet someone, and let's say they're decent looking, like they're slightly above average, but their attitude is terrible. You know, because they have a sense of entitlement that shouldn't be there for how they look. All right, they walk into a room and they expect the room to turn for them, and the room is like, they might not even notice them, or if they do notice them, there's not anybody that they walk up to, and now they have an attitude because they're not getting the results that they want from the delusion that they have in their mind. And then when you approach them, let's say you would look across the room and you say, you know what, just from looks, they look like somebody I can approach. You approach them and they're like, because they're feeling like, well, I'm a 10, so I don't deserve anyone less than a 10. And in reality, you're a 5. You're a 5. And it's okay because 5 is average. You know, and that's one of the things I mean with the great KS was to say, you know, average at best. I mean, average is not a slight bit because so many women believe that they're a 10. That video blew up because no woman has ever been told that she's average. And if you're told that they're average, it's like a slap in the face. But average is the majority of people. That's thus the term average. Well, I think we've been told we're so special for so long that people have taken it to heart and they've done nothing to improve themselves because they feel like, well, I'm good as I am. And anybody who loves me gonna just accept me for me. That's BS. But why should I have to accept you for you if you aren't a great person? You don't have the qualities that I want in a person, but I gotta accept you anyway. It's crazy, and it's delusional, and it's the audacity for me. Anyway, this is my thoughts, guys. You know, like I say in all of my videos, if you want more of this, please comment below. We'll definitely dive deeper into the topics and give some more of what I think about the situation. But if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Anything you do will help me grow the channel. Appreciate it.